the story of India, age-old India, land of 1,000 contrasts, a land where primitive agriculture and modern industrialization rub friendly shoulders beneath the tropic sun. In its myriad villages, peasants hold to the methods of their ancestors, methods that have been unchanged for centuries. Patient oxen are the motive power for the work of agriculture. Simple devices draw water from the wells and irrigation canals which bring the life-giving liquid to the arid plains. Beside these villages rise the chimneys of great factories, factories equipped with the latest machinery, factories working day and night to turn out the materials needed in the fight against Nazism. To see these factories, to help where need be in plans for their expansion, the British Ministry of Supply sent to India a mission of experts under the leadership of Sir Alexander Odger. This is also the story of the mission's tour, a tour beginning among the clattering berth of cartridge cases in an arsenal in western India. In countless thousands there pour from these machines the glittering tubes destined to fit into the rifles and machine guns of the defenders of freedom. A bad case, a jammed gun, might mean a soldier's life, so every case is checked by skilled operatives, themselves soldiers of the army of industry. Here are the bullets, shining projectiles that mean death to the aggressors in the grim struggle that Nazi lust for power has thrust upon the world. Cases and bullets are joined, and then it's the turn of the packers. Watch this little fellow. He's small, but he's good, as quick and as clever as his older workmates. Doses of more potent medicine for the Nazis and Italians who have dared to challenge the might of the British Commonwealth. The filling of shells is part of the arsenal's work, and members of the Roger Mission see the finished products, more examples of India's contribution to the sinews of war. Away from this heartening sight, the mission travels inland, on to an important gun carriage factory. This old gun had its shares in the wars of bygone days. Now it is a picturesque ornament in peaceful surroundings, but around it float the sounds of manufacture for this new and greatest of all the world's conflicts. Processes that the old-time armies did not know, speed and dexterity which they would have thought impossible, provide the equipment for the fighting forces of today. Mechanized armies mean more and more vehicles, and in this factory the vehicles are made. Carriages for guns, carriages for all sorts of other purposes. Highly trained workmen add the finishing touches to yet more of the units in the never-ending stream of production. There's no doubting the quality of this part of India's war efforts. These products are good. these are the jobs they turn out, sleek, grimly efficient. Onwards again, eastward to mighty iron and steel works that owe existence to the efforts of India's greatest industrialist, the late J N Tata. Steel, steel, and yet more steel is the cry of the armies of today. Steel for shells, for guns, for tanks, for all the implements of war. In plants like these, the countries of the empire are answering the call. The once quiet Indian countryside is shattered by the reverberating roar of industry, by the rumble and clatter of trains bringing raw material, of ore going into the devouring furnaces. Metal becomes liquid, white-hot liquid, ready to be molded to India's needs in defense of her safety. Power, fiery power, harnessed to man's use. A great blower, just another of the million units that are building up the stocks of war material, which will in the end humble the aggressor and allow the world to return once more to its peaceful progress. Indian industry has girded up its loins for the task of winning the war. On its front there is no slacking. India and the empire are justly proud. Another pot of molten metal, metal that this time will go into rails, for vitally important railway communications. This is how they take shape. Others of the hundreds of thousands of workmen to whom industry gives employment deftly handle rods of red-hot iron bars in the making. And if you've ever wondered how those grooves get into corrugated iron, here's your answer. Away from this monument to Tata vision, the mission's road again lies eastwards. Old guns these, but behind them in a plant in one of India's teeming cities, new guns are being made. Modern guns for modern soldiers. Machines that are themselves marvels of technical skill bore into hard steel to make the barrels. But there's no machine to do this man's job, the final check-up on the bore. A finished breech, and then the raw material for shells. Rough forgings, still to go through numerous processes. Speed and precision are the keynotes of the work, for in this war, speed is near to victory. And here's precision at its best, an intricate machine that turns out the fuse caps. The finished thing, cases ready for filling and packing, shells that will help India's fighting men on whatever battlefront they may be. Another scene in India's war effort, one of the factories where rifles are made. Rifles that have proved their worth in many a campaign have come from these shops. And as the mission see for themselves, wheels are turning at full speed to maintain and increase the output, so that India's growing masses of soldiers may never lack these essential items of equipment. That's good. Sir Alexander and some of his companions give their approval. So, behind these gallant fighters, behind the ships and the planes that harry the enemy hordes, India mobilizes her industry. This is a war of machines, a war behind the lines as much as in them. Tens of thousands of Indians are doing their share on the industrial front. Hundreds are joining them each day as expanding war industry creates new openings for Indian youth. All are fighting for the one great cause, the cause of freedom against tyranny, a cause for which victory is certain.